Hello, you guys. Welcome back for another episode. I think
episode 134.
Yes, I need to apologize because somebody brought to my attention that last week's episode there was an audio issue.
Yeah.
What the hell's that all about, Mark?
Are you suggesting that it was my fault?
No, that was definitely my fault, you guys. I edited that episode, and I had some freaking OneDrive issues with my computer. It's not the first time that's happened, and I don't know what the hell happened.
I do, but by the time we found out,
it was too late and uploaded and everything.
And you were at the lake.
I still haven't fixed that problem yet.
Yeah.
So, Mark edited today's episode. So while I'm trying to still fix my computer, but yeah, it was like when I rendered it, or when it had its issues, it like reset some stuff, deleted like everything, and then I got it back. But then the settings weren't accurate, and I just didn't notice until it was too late, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah,
unless I took it down and re-uploaded it, and I was just like, meh.
So if you're really annoyed with the audio issue, you can always listen to the audio only, because I was able to fix that one before I uploaded it.
Well, there you go. So yeah. Or how about you just stream it on Spotify?
Yeah, and then just
and watch the video on YouTube, sync those two up, and you should be good to go.
Sure.
Why not? Let's go. So my apologies. That's all my bad on that. I got some technical difficulties that I'm working out.
So which shows are you going this year? This week.
This week? I'm not sure, but I can tell you what I went to this one that just went by.
Okay.
So Friday night, it was a road trip. So much fun. It was like, I'm still hyped up about it.
Do tell.
Well, I won't get into too much detail about it because I want to jump into the show. We got a good episode for you guys here today. But what I ended up doing was I drove to Regina on Friday, and I went to the Dead Levy show, so at the Exchange. So there was Dead Levy, the Radiant Weapons. So that was a late night, early morning, and then came back out this way and went to Doyle Fest for Saturday night. So I don't even remember what the hell time it was when I got home, like early Sunday morning. So I left early Friday morning and got back early Sunday morning.
And you slept, 3 hours?
I'm still like trying to catch up on my sleep here, but it was well worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. All the performers I got to see this weekend were fantastic. Made some good connections out there, and some good new guests coming out on the show coming up in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But today, let's talk about today's show. We have an interesting guest today that you lined up, Mark. Can you tell us a little bit about it before we get into it?
JJ Voss. I don't exactly remember how I met him, but he's been on my radar for a while, and I figured we need him on the show because he's a great artist, great performer, maybe not my genre of music per se, but
genre. What's genre of music?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I enjoy his music.
I've been hearing good things about this guy, like through mutual acquaintances and stuff like that. So hell yeah, this will be my first. I didn't set this episode up. I haven't talked to him, DM'd with him, or nothing. This is all you, Mark. So this is I'm diving into this with you guys. My first getting to meet JJ Voss. Hope you guys enjoy.
Rock and roll. It's all good.
What was that?
Oh.
Osmo.
So you can hold it in your hand, and then when you do this, the camera stays straight.
Right. But what was that noise?
That's the gimbal motor that's in there that keeps the head straight.
Let's try this, and if that happens, I'll just take it out and hold it in my hand.
Yeah, sure, man. That was actually that was awesome. There's your opening clip. Burn, 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 burn.
Well, this is episode 134 of the Sit Down Podcast. My name is JJ Voss.
Hello, JJ, and welcome to the show, man. It's an honor to get to meet you.
Yeah.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm trying really hard to remember how I got on your trail. It must have been you played in PA at some point. And
yeah, I played up at the theater at the Rollinson Center November of 2020, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think I was there, but maybe that's how.
What did I feel like North Sass music scene talks about JJ quite a bit.
Oh, Scott Roos.
Like
Scotty Roos. Yeah.
That's how I heard of you, and like how I know of you is from Scott for sure.
Right. Well, I was thinking it's either that or else you guys work in law enforcement. Maybe
And we probably were not cellmates, but we were in cells at one point in time. That's funny. Can I ask you, JJ, where are you from?
Well, I live in Regina, but I grew up on a little farm about an hour north of Regina, the town of Cupar is where I was raised.
Okay.
Nice.
Is that where you are now?
No, I was actually supposed to be on my way out there. We're shooting a music video there tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
But I had a million things to get done, and I didn't get on the road when I was wanting to. So I just said, I'm going to hang around and do this podcast first and then get on the road later.
Freaking right.
Now I'm even more honored.
I'm curious about this music video. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty special project to me. Our land we're going to be celebrating our 100th anniversary of the land being in our family name.
Nice.
And I just today I picked up the actual deed from 1922. It was September the 30th, signed by my grandpa.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And so the song, that was kind of that's what the song is about. I wrote it. I've got 3 siblings, and then there's myself. My dad passed away 9 years ago now. And we rented the land out to the neighbors, and they do a great job of looking after it. And we're trying to keep the yard and keep home in our name. And it's been working. It's great. But, siblings don't get along at the best of times. But as you get older, like everybody's priorities are changing a little bit. Everybody's life is going in different directions. I don't know how tenable it is to think that we can, keep it forever, but we're trying. And that's what I wrote the song about.
Oh my God. Oh. That's amazing. Right on. How,
there are a lot of songs about cliche things. I don't think I've ever heard a song about something like this.
Well, not specifically, no, but do you mean like family history?
Well, family history,
personal family history thing.
Yeah, singing about your brothers and sisters and that, but like having something that you share with your siblings for that long and writing a song about it.
Yeah, it's amazing where artists get their inspiration.
It's pretty emotional, and I'm not sure if my brothers and sisters are all too crazy about it, because I dig pretty deep. And the best, in my opinion, the best artwork is the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. And and it was kind of a healing process in doing so for myself. But like I said, I'm not sure if the family is too crazy about it, but it's it's not, what's that old saying, art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. Something to that.
Oh,
right on. I thought you were gonna say something about ask for forgiveness later.
Well, that's my mantra. That's been my mantra my whole life.
Right. So how long have you been performing music for, JJ?
I started young. I guess at 5 years old, 3 years old, I took up the fiddle. I was given it for Christmas, and I had a knack for it. I had a bit of an ear. They could tell that I could pick little melodies out on. My parents bought me this little quarter-size fiddle. It was pretty cute. Mm-hmm. And I was smitten by it. I loved it. But the little town that I was from, there was nobody that really taught lessons or could help me out with it.
Yeah.
And the next best thing was, well, what does every small town have in it? Like churches. So there was 2 or 3 different people in town that taught organ lessons. So if you can imagine, at 5 years old, I got into playing. I think was I 8 or 9, and I won an award for being the most promising church organist in the area. If you ever want to, kind of a way to not fit in and and get the shit beat out of you on a regular basis at school, that's what you do.
You play the organ at church.
Yeah, church organist. So yeah, that's kind of where I started. So I was doing music festivals and that type of thing, and of course, but like I said, it was kind of hell. I enjoyed it, but I didn't. And then when I discovered the guitar, my dad had an old guitar kicking around the house, and it was it turns out, I had no idea at the time, but it turns out it's a 1931 Dobro, so it's a steel-bodied guitar. And I picked that up, and my dad would strum a few chords, and that's kind of what he did to relax in the evenings, and he would sing a few Don Williams songs. And so that's kind of when I was 8 or 9, I started to, he taught me a couple of chords, and then I kind of grabbed it and ran like hell with it. That was my solace. That's where I found, that's what I really gravitated towards. So then once I, what was I, probably about 13 or 14, then they could see that I was serious about it. And I think they probably realized that I was getting PTSD from playing church organ. So they enrolled me in lessons in Regina. So we would go for a lesson every second week for an hour, and my folks would drive me in, and that's kind of where I got started that way. And then I started my first high school band when I was 14, I think. And we started playing bars when I was 16, and to the chagrin of my teachers and pretty much everybody else around it. And then after I graduated high school, I went pretty much within a year, went out on the road as a guitar player and as a side guy in a country band. There used to be a circuit where you could play 6 nights a week.
Oh, nice.
And we did a circuit pretty much from Thunder Bay to Vancouver and around and around.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Nice.
So we did that for quite a few, for probably 4 or 5 years. And that wound down. It went from playing 6 nights to 5 to 4 to back 3s. Right. And so I found myself sleeping on people's couches more than anything. And it was, the writing was on the wall. So at that point I had to decide whether I was going to grow up and get a real job or try to figure out another way. And obviously I didn't. So there was a nightclub in Regina that tooled up and spent some real money, and they put in a serious soundstage, and they started doing concerts of pretty much all genres, everything from country to rock to everything in between. And I kind of put my music aside, and I threw myself into that, and I became a professional audio engineer.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. So at least still involved with the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, it was a different skill set. It was something that I'd done sound for every band that I had put together from the time I was 14. But, it was just kind of figuring out how to plug stuff in and trial and error. This is a situation where I could actually get in and really learn from a real professional sound guy. And he was kind of the best guy around. So it was a great opportunity, and it really set me up for a lot of other things.
Nice. Which venue was that?
It's called the Pump Roadhouse in Regina.
Okay.
Roadhouse.
Sweet.
When you were doing those 6 nights a week, were those paying gigs?
Yeah. No, I made. I think I started making $400 a week, and that was in 1995, 96. So it was pretty decent money.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything. There's got to be some type of circuits out there right now.
Sorry, I'm doing math in my head to figure out how old he is.
Jeez.
I've been doing this a while.
I'll just take a wild guess and say that he's late 40s.
Yeah, I'm tipping that. I'm tipping over that mark here in October. I'll be 47.
47.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's I would have guessed mid 40s.
Well, he is mid-40s, but he'll be tipping over. And
yeah, it's to.
Did you say November?
October.
Right on. Heck yeah, I'm November.
Oh, right on. So you're
the big 4-0 in November for me.
Right. So yeah, it's been a long journey. I've done a lot of different things, and I've always said I'm jack of all trades and master of none. But it made me valuable in that I can eke out a living all the way. I've taken a few odd jobs here and there over the years, but my focus has always been on the entertainment business.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. When were you like writing your own material? Like you said, you were in bands in high school and stuff, but when did you like legitimately write a song, record it, all that kind of stuff? How old would you have been then when you did that for the first time?
I would have been about 2003. So I would have been just 27 or 28 years old, something like that.
Nice. And
I hit a point where I had basically let go of playing music, and it was pretty hard on the psyche. But so it was kind of a form of therapy for me. And it was, I kind of got serious with myself at that point and decided like, okay, what did I want to do really from the time that I was a kid? And my hero, or like my childhood hero, and to this day, is Steve Earle. And, I always wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be that, troubadour. But for one reason or another, I was, I didn't have the courage to do that. Being the most promising church organist in the region had me a little bit shell-shocked about stepping out, even further. So that's why when I started bands, I went off to be the side guy. I was a guitar player, and I never, grabbed the bull by the horns, so to speak. So when I had all that downtime, and I thought, this is what I always wanted to do from the time I was a kid, was to actually write songs and tell stories and that type of thing. So I was a bit of a late bloomer, but I decided to go after it when I was in my late 20s and early 30s.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm very, very happy that you did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean? I got to listen to some of your tracks I watched some of your videos on YouTube today, which is my go-to. I like music videos, right? I want to see the visuals and stuff. And yeah, I really liked what I was seeing. The one video I think was put up, you had one that went up 4 months ago.
I might have reshared.
Well, maybe it's A Letter to Dad.
Oh yeah, that's the song that that was a demo that I did.
Okay.
For the tune.
Is that the video that you're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna be shooting that was a live performance video.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow we're gonna be shooting like a storyline type video with no actors. It's just gonna be me, but that's the song.
Oh, freaking rights. Are you okay if we put that in right here for the audience to check it out?
I'd love that.
I can still feel you out in these hills, and it brings me peace and it gives me chills. The roots 100 years deep in this dirt. I've gotta find a way to make this work. Now the title's clear and the bills are paid, and you left us kids with a choice to make. We can walk away or see this through. If only the ends would meet like they used to. But I won't give up and I don't complain. I've got stubborn will and I bear your name. And I shook your hand and I gave my word. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. To leave the light on in the yard, hoping I would find my way back to this farm. When it feels like I've lost my way and all alone, I always find myself when I come home. So I won't give up and I don't complain. I've got your stubborn will and I bear your name. You always said a man is only as good as his word. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. The leaf don't fall far from the tree. So I'm gonna sing these songs for all they're worth. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. 'Cause I won't give up and I don't complain. I've got your stubborn will and I bear your name. Always said a man is only as good as his word. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. You always had my back, now I'll have yours. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. And I can still feel you out in these hills. You know my heart lives here and it always will.
The Sit Down Podcast is brought to you by Funky Moose Records. Funky Moose Records is an online record store. We sell new and used vinyl records, storage solutions like inner and outer sleeves, and cleaning supplies from, for example, Groove Washer. We also sell turntables from Audio-Technica and speakers by Kanto. And if you're in the market for a record, how about this one? The Northern Royals EP. It is on gold splatter vinyl and it's available at funkymooserecords.ca.
That song is great, JJ. Who's the guy beside you, with you, in that video?
He's my guitar player. His name's Grady Burns.
All right. Have you guys been playing together quite a while?
It's a funny story. Him and I are about the same age, and he grew up in a town about 45 minutes away from mine. And my aunt lives in the next town over. Lipton is where my aunt was from. Grady was from Fort Capel. I remember when I was playing in those high school bands, I remember Aunt Glows talking about, you should really get together with this Grady kid. He's a great guitar player. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it's, small towns are, there's rivalries. And it was like, okay, he does the same thing I do. Why would I want to? Yeah. So, and I was always, kind of an asshole. So I put it off and I never thought much of it. We didn't meet until probably we were in our late 20s and early 30s is when I first met him. I was like, great. Oh man, I've been hearing about you for years, and we hit it off, famously. And it's only been probably the last 4 or 5 years now that Grady's been playing my gig with me, and it's awesome.
Hell yes.
Listen to your family.
Yeah,
exactly. But his story is quite similar to mine. He started in bands when he was, in high school as well. So we have very similar paths.
Right. So when you guys are performing, it's not just the two of you. Like, it's a full band, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, well, I play a lot of solo shows, especially prior to the pandemic, but especially since the pandemic. I've been doing solo backyard concerts for the most part.
Nice. Heck yeah.
And it makes me portable. It I don't have a big overhead. I can travel. Before the world ended, I went over to Europe a couple of times. In order to take a band anywhere, it's very expensive. And I'm not 20 years old, and the people that I play with, don't think it's cool to jump in a van and drive 4 hours for, for $50. So in order to do the band up thing the way I want to, the money has to be there.
For sure.
So playing solo makes me portable, and it gets me traveling.
Definitely.
Yeah. Where have you been in Europe?
I did, the first time I was over, we did, I think, 6 or 7 shows in Germany.
Okay.
And then the next, that was in the fall of 2015. And then spring of 2016, I went back, and I think I did 14 or 15 shows, and it was in Germany, Netherlands, and France.
Oh, hell yes.
That's where I'm from. I'm from Holland.
Are you? Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did you play? Do you remember?
In France?
In Holland.
Oh, in Holland. Oh, I played Utrecht. I played just outside of Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, I opened for a band from New York called Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes.
Okay.
They were kind of coattail ride. Maybe that's not a good way of saying it. They came up in Asbury Park the same time as Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
And Springsteen and him started out as Johnny pretty much, and it was similar style, although he was a little more bluesy. But obviously Springsteen catapulted and Johnny didn't. But he's maintained a pretty successful career, for many, many years. He tours over in Europe a lot. So I opened for 5 shows in the Netherlands for them. So there was, Maastricht, Utrecht, Amsterdam, I'm missing a couple others, but it was a while ago.
Heck yeah. What can you tell me about? I've never been there, so I'm very curious. Like Mark tells me all the time, but I want to hear it from somebody else. The music scene there, like the difference in playing a show in Europe and playing a show in Saskatchewan. Do you notice any big differences there? Attention
span. I think their culture as a whole, and not even just with music shows, but just what I found was, okay, you'd send a text message or you'd send an email to somebody when I was going to a gig, and we expect instant answers. And I remember the one buyer guy, I was getting in late, so I was trying to message him saying, I'm going to be a little bit late. He checks his phone twice a day. And they're just a lot more present in the everyday life. They don't live with their eyes glued to their phone over there. And I found that at the concerts as well. They were just very attentive.
Oh, that's good though. That's a good thing.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there staring, checking emails constantly and doing what we do. And I look around in a restaurant and nobody else is doing that. So I must have stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right? They knew you were a tourist.
There's that Canadian guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking right. Was there like a lot of people recording you on their phones, like at the shows? Or not as much as here?
No, not as much. No. Like you said, they're just a lot more present.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a while ago too, so maybe things have changed, but
maybe, but I just find like overall is in their culture, there's a little bit more reverence for music in itself. Like in Germany, there's a minimum amount that musicians are paid, and they stick to that, and promoters don't try to get around it. It's treated more, I think it's thought of as more legit and more as like a trade or like a real profession.
A business. It's a real business. Yeah, definitely.
As it should be treated.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
So how was this summer for gigging?
Absolutely wonderful. It's been very, very busy. I've been running flat out since the end of May when things first opened up, and there's a couple of holes now in late September, but it's good because I'm just getting all my ducks in a row to release this single. So it's going to give me a little bit of time to woodshed on, getting all the T's crossed and I's dotted and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing for some of our listeners out there that are like new into the business and stuff. It's not just like, you don't just record a song and throw it up on YouTube and hope you'll get 1 million views or nothing. There's a strategic plan when releasing not just an album, but tracks individually as well. There's like artwork that's involved. You have to have a plan on when the release date is going to be, and then like a build up to it, right?
Who you're reaching out to.
Yeah.
it's lining up dominoes. It's getting a great big line of dominoes. And I mean, you obviously have to do it a few times before you get it figured out. And
for sure.
And it's always changing too. Like every couple of years, the music industry changes. I had layoff between 2012 was my one record, and then 2020 was the next one. So that's 8 years off in between. Well, it was a different
ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the streaming thing came along while I was after 2012 when I released that record. I toured around Canada, around Western Canada. I got out east a little bit between 2012 and 2014, and at that point, traditionally you would put another record out, but at that point I wasn't in a financial place to be able to get another record happening, and I really wanted to get over to Europe. That had been a dream of mine. And so, I didn't follow conventional wisdom, and I went over there. So that was 2015, 2016. And then the wheels kind of fell off for me. Literally, I fell off my feet. I had a herniated disc in my back that had been degenerating over years. And the more sitting upright and the more travel that you do aggravated it worse and worse. And it was getting to the point that, I was in New York City and I fell off my feet. So I couldn't put it off any longer, and I had to. It took me the better part of almost 2 years to get back in, fully functioning.
Right,
wow.
right.
Are you all good now?
Yeah. I had surgery, and I don't regret it. From the moment I woke up, that nagging pain was gone. I had some setbacks with my recovery. I had a couple of slips. And so it was a very prolonged recovery and frustrating. But that being said, that nagging pain that I lived with for 10 years isn't there anymore.
Yeah, man. Well, good. I'm good on you for getting that.
Yeah.
All fixed.
I had to. I had no choice. I put it off because the thing is, when I did see the doctor, they said, if you have surgery, you're going to have to take 6 months to a year off from your job. And I said, that's not in the cards. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to, and it was longer than 6 months. So.
Yeah. Right. Gee whiz.
Did you get married recently?
I did in July.
Aha.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. July the 23rd.
Was it on the homestead?
We tied the knot out at the farm, and then we had a jam session party in just outside of Regina.
Nice,
so
man.
Everybody, it was great.
Cool.
Right on.
Cool.
That was my only Saturday night off in the summer, and I married the right girl because she let me. We kind of booked a working honeymoon. We left on the Sunday, and we headed out west, and we worked our way to the Okanagan, and we spent 3 or 4 days kind of chilling, lots of driving, and then I had a show on the Friday night in Chilliwack, BC.
Oh, amazing!
Is she in the industry too, or?
No, not at all. But she's become, she's half of what I do. She manages and looks after all my merchandise, and and she comes out to all of my shows, or it's pretty much as many as she can. And she works full time, so she books her holiday schedule around my summer shows, and it's pretty amazing.
Freaking rights, man! Yeah. Congratulations. That I'm happy
Thanks.
for you. It's good to have.
Sounds like the right
strong support at your side. 100%.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question: what are the next few gigs that you've got coming up? Because I would love to get a chance to come and see you play live.
Saturday at 6 p.m. I'm going to be playing right after the Banjo Bowl in Moose Jaw at an event called Homestand 22. There's that one, and then after that, let me look here. I'm doing a pregame party in Humboldt on the for the Humboldt Broncos. I believe it's the 18th.
Oh, sweet.
And then I'm singing the anthem before the game. So I'm going to play a set for their pregame party.
Yeah.
And then sing the anthem. And then after that, there's Rib Fest in Regina on the 25th of September.
All right. Hell yeah, man. Speaking of pregame.
Any farther north, like PA, Saskatoon?
Yeah, this year, for some reason, I haven't been able to get up north. Last year, I did actually a pretty healthy little run of shows up that way. I did Lake Kipabisku, I did Prince Albert, and a couple other private shows along the way. But yeah, for some reason this year it didn't. Maybe I overplayed last year, so I'll have to look for next year.
There you go.
Okay.
Do you, speaking of pregame things, you just did, was that yesterday, our Labor Day thing at Mosaic? Did you not?
Yeah, on Sunday. Yeah, it was the park, the pregame. I did it with the band.
Right. How was that? And how did you end up like booking that? Like, do you do your own booking or do you have somebody booking for you?
I do my own booking. I did have an agent in out west in the Okanagan who was trying to find some work. I think he booked one gig for me, but yeah, pretty much I do all my own. It's a lot of cold calling and a lot of knocking on doors and ringing phones, and it itself could be a full-time job.
Right. So how was how much fun did you have at the Mosaic?
It was incredible because don't get me wrong, I love playing all my solo shows, but when I actually get to play with the band, it just, the pressure's like I don't have to carry the whole thing myself, so I can just go up there and relax and really let it go. So
and have fun. Yeah.
They estimated there's something like 5,000 people in the park for the pregame. So yeah, it was wonderful. It was great to play for a big crowd, and it was great.
Do you prepare any different than for smaller shows?
Well, there's just a lot more moving parts. So there's a lot more planning and organizing, and then as far as like the production end of things, we use in-ear monitors when I'm with them. So I have a digital console, so I have to manage that. And I don't always have the same band. I have the same core, but we cycle in, and it depends who's available. Yeah. So there's a fair bit of prep work for the band shows, but it's worth it.
How far out do you know? Like, how much time do you get to prep for that? Like a couple of weeks or a month, or?
Well, the shows with the band are usually booked 3 to 6 months out front.
Yeah.
But as far as action, like that type of prep, it's usually the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. Freaking A, man. Yeah, I love hearing about that kind of stuff because I don't know, it's like that inside information that people aren't really familiar with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's I love going to shows and watching the performance and everything, but I'm more like, how did it get to this point? Like, you know what I mean? And
what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, I know what happens like behind the stage, and it is it's eventful.
A big party, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's like in a closet trick. I've come to learn that real quick, but
well, you'll hear people, they say, how much do you charge? And you give a number and they say, that's a lot of money for an hour or for an hour and a half. And they don't get that it's you're prepping for, it's more than an hour. You're prepping for weeks and months and organizing things. And your show's an hour, but your setup, your travel, everything in between. It's
for sure.
It's 100%. A job, but it's a great job.
Oh man, I'm a little envious of you being able to do what you do, for sure.
You can do it
for as long as you've been doing it. What?
You can do it.
I could. I bet I probably won't. I'm not going to start doing that at 40 years old.
Why not?
Why not?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Well, that's why we're talking to artists.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose. No, I just like being that fly on the wall and watching you guys do your great things. And you guys all have my support 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not easy. And I've been doing it a lot of years, but I mean, it's the biggest roller coaster in the world. Because like one day it seems, and they come in threes. You have a great day where things start lining up and you're like feeling, okay, here we go. And then the next day you're absolutely devastated because some of those things fall apart, or else there's other things that don't. So it's a pretty high roller coaster, but I choose to do it. There's a lot easier ways to make a living, and I choose to do it. So I try not to complain.
I hear, man. I hear you. The recording side of things, do you like have your own studio and record yourself, or do you rent a studio, or can you walk me through that process a little bit on how you do it?
It's pretty much a hybrid at this point. Like I invested in recording gear, like kind of the current stuff so that I can work at home and I can do overdubs, and I can really hunker down and spend the time that I want to. The album that I put out in 2012, I did it in Nashville. And I did that. I worked with one of my heroes. It was a great experience, and we did everything. It was off the floor. So everybody played at once, and it was an incredible experience. And there was a vibe created doing it that way, which I really loved.
And it's not easy to do, is it?
Well, it's a little more. Recording in Nashville isn't more expensive. No, I don't think it's harder.
No, I mean the live off the floor recording.
Yeah, no, it's actually easier, I think, just because you're playing with each other. You're playing as a band. You're feeding off of each other, and there's a vibe that's created in doing that, as opposed to manufacturing it one at a time. And you can make that work, and a lot of the recordings that are done, that's how they are. But there is just something magical about doing it that way.
Yeah,
very cool.
Because I don't remember who I talked to, but the person I talked to, because we had a conversation. If I ever started a studio, and at the time I said this, my requirement would be that when the band comes in, I want everything recorded live off the floor. And the guy I was talking to, he was like, "Yo, good luck with that. That's not done anymore because that's really tough to do because bands are not that great anymore."
Like, or I think maybe scheduling could be a thing too.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think there's truth in both of it. Because it's hard to find a band. Like I'm a solo artist, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't have partners in my project. It's me. Yeah. So when I do something, I pay for everybody individually to be there.
Yeah.
So in order to
it's JJ Voss. It's not JJ Voss and friends, right? It's like,
Yeah. So I mean, it's great. It's great and it's terrible because I have full and complete control of it all. And if something blows up, it's all mine. And if it doesn't, it's my debt. But I mean, it just makes being able to pull a band in, you have to have a serious budget in order to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But and as far as the players go, when you work with the Nashville experience was something else because the fact that these guys do this every day. Right. So when they hit record and you hear the count incoming, people aren't tensing up and they're not saying, "Oh shit, we're recording now," because they do it every day. So it's just natural to them. Whereas here, we're touring, we're doing everything, we're booking, we're doing everything in between. So you record maybe a couple, 3-4 times a year. And so it takes much longer. It takes a lot longer to get in that zone and to get comfortable.
For sure. Your studio's right in your house then?
Well, my garage is a multi-purpose facility. It is a storage locker. It's about 3 times a year it sees my vehicle. So it's a garage, and it's also my office. It's where I shoot videos. It's everything. But I mean, I have the corner. I have some drapes that I pull in, and that's where I kind of do if I'm going to be recording parts. Like the song that we just did here, I went out to Calgary to do it, and plain and honest, I kind of shit the bed on it. We did 3 shows in a row, and I had driven a lot of miles. We went in and I was just burnt, and I did not do well I was working with a different producer that I hadn't before. And I wasn't comfortable and I didn't play very well. So I didn't play as well as I feel that I could have. So I brought it home and I went back and I said to the producers, give me a shot at it at home. So I went at it for, it took me probably about 3 or 4 hours, but then I turned in something that I could live with.
Hell yeah, man. That's amazing to be able to do that.
That's a good luxury to have too.
Well, definitely. Have you ever done that for other artists, or do you solely just work on your own stuff, like in the studio?
There was a stretch where I dabbled in producing, working with other artists. Way back in 2009, I got my first recording my EP called Hillbilly Storybook got nominated for Western Canadian Music Award.
Oh, nice.
And it's amazing. Like, I've never really paid a lot of respect or attention to music awards. I always really thought it's bullshit.
I hear that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I hate competition. That's why I didn't get into sports. I don't like it. But anyhow, I get this nomination and my phone starts ringing. Oh, hey, I'd love to work with you. Will you produce stuff for me? And I'm like, well, okay. I was just kind of figuring out how to do it for myself. But so I did kind of dive into that some, and I enjoyed it to a point, but I'm not a virtuoso player, like as a musician. I have to work really hard at my guitar playing. I got really good ideas. I think I'm creatively, I've got a knack, and I think I'm all right at that. But when it comes to execution, I just I really have to woodshed and really have to work on stuff. So I'm pretty slow in that world. And as a producer, you've kind of got to be
on the I hear
so. And I've dove down deep into my own career again, like after this many years, and there's not enough hours in a day in order to, because I'm self-managed and booked and all of that stuff. So I couldn't imagine. I can barely keep up with things right now. So.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of your favorite songs to perform when you're on stage?
Recently, probably in the last few years, I cover Jason Isbell tune, Cover Me Up.
Okay.
I really enjoy playing that one. It's one of my favorite songs ever. And as far as my own songs, let me think here. Well, right now it's the new one, Letter to Dad. Another one called It's a Pride Thing that was on my first album. I really like playing that one.
Okay.
And I had a song on my record called Two Gold Teeth. I really like playing that one too.
Do we have videos for those? And can we put one of those in here?
I have a video for It's a Pride Thing.
I was just looking up the name of the other video. Some People, where you're driving that Chevy through the town there and everything.
Actually, let me qualify it. Some People is one of my favorite ones to play.
There you go.
That one's going in.
That one we're going to put in right here.
Some people stay, while some people head down the road. Some people rock, some people roll. And some people sing, some people just gotta dance. Some people play safe, some people take the chance. It takes all kinds to make this world go around. An open heart won't never weigh you down. Well, so do the best you can and be a better man. And just listen and try to understand. There's some people love and some people so full of hate. And some people say nothing, some people have a lot to say. Yeah. Straight down the middle. Some people will argue all day and all night about a violin or a fiddle. And it takes all kinds to make this world go around. An open heart won't never weigh you down. Well, so do the best you can. Be a better man and just listen and try to understand. Some people have faith, well, some people ain't got no hope. Some people pray, some don't. Well, some people stay, some people head down the road. Some people rock, some people roll. Don't you know some people rock, some people roll.
Sorry for the interruption, you guys. I just wanted to tell you guys about Muse Canada. They're a new arts and entertainment media connection and support network. Skip the algorithms of social media and connect with other entertainment professionals across Canada. Sign up today for $5 a month or use the promo code FunkyMoose2021 for 10% off. That is FUNKYMOOSE 2021 for 10% off. Back to the show. What year is that, Chev, in that video?
That is a 1972. No, it's a 1970. My dad had one. He had a green one, and that was the first vehicle I learned how to drive. It has a 3 on the tree, and my nephew wound up finding this beauty, this black beauty. I think it's a 70 as well.
How did it feel getting to drive that the whole day?
Oh, it was nostalgia.
No doubt, right? Was that filmed in I'm gonna guess Regina?
No, we shot that one in Moose Jaw. That one goes with the theme of Funky Moose Records. That was shot in Moose Jaw.
Nice. There you go.
That was the music video for Funky Moose Records. Come on, man.
Yeah.
From right.
That's right. Yeah. I know. I should have known. No, that's freaking. That was the first one that I watched today, actually, and I really enjoyed it. And I couldn't stop staring at that truck. I freaking think that truck is sexy as shit, man.
It's a beautiful.
Yeah. It really is. Who was the production company, if you remember, that did that?
It was directed by Joel Stewart, and he was a producer and the head guy at CMT for a lot of years. He directed videos for, well, you name it, everyone. Cor Blund, Paul Brandt. His list as long as my arm. He directed it, and the crew from Prehistoric Productions in Saskatoon shot it and they cut it all together.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Cool.
Shout out to Prehistoric.
Yeah.
I'm working with them tomorrow again. They're shooting the video for me tomorrow.
Oh, are you serious? That's amazing.
They're wonderful guys. We get along great, and they do great work.
Yes, we've done some work with those boys as well. I freaking love Andrew. Andrew, I love you, man. That guy's like
Brad and Fran. You're all right too.
Yeah, you can here. I don't know if you want. Wow, you can leave this in. So on what was it? What night did I go to Saskatoon?
Fuck, every night.
Just the other night, anyways. I was at the Coors Event Center because the Wilderness was playing with weapons.
Oh, that was Saturday.
Saturday night
or Friday.
And then anyway, so I got there, and like me, freaking, I got there right even before the doors were open. I'm there like trying to open the door and get it. Like that's how early I like getting there. But anyways, I get there and the show wasn't starting for another like hour and a half or whatever. So I phoned up those boys and I'm like, hey, you guys got to get down here. Like, come, I'm here by myself. Come, let's freaking party tonight. So the three of them came out. We partied at Coors Event Center. Then you have to bug Brad about this because we went to Thomas Cook after and shot pool for the rest of the night. And I like sharked it, man. I held that table all night, $5 a game. I think I walked out of there $6 ahead. Hell yes.
I'll be
Brad was just talking shit. Yeah. Ask him if he wants to play notes.
I'll compare notes with them tomorrow and get back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
See if that story holds up.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely took the table all night.
Brad's gonna deny that, hands down. Didn't happen.
Yeah, no, shout out to those boys. They're amazing. They do amazing work.
Yeah, they do.
Have you heard about our new radio station? It's called Funky Moose Radio, where we play alternative and indie rock, sprinkle in some blues and Americana. We feature the music from our guests on this podcast at least once per hour. These songs can be in any genre. We're working on getting the station on every mobile app available, but the easiest way to listen is at funkymooseradio.ca. You should also become a VIP because we'll be giving away some prizes. Again, check it out at funkymooseradio.ca.
Well, maybe I need to get you fellas to help me work on some gigs up north, get something lined up in Saskatoon or Prince Albert. That's what we got.
Dude, I'm in. I'm in.
All right.
We're on it.
Yeah. Well, I'll get on that immediately. I might know a couple people to call. I might have something coming up in the next few months too. So fuck yeah.
I'd love to.
That could be perfect. That would be perfect.
It's just, this year's, it was kind of path of least resistance. I did manage to get a fair bit of publicity from, even though that my record came out right at the beginning of the pandemic, I managed to keep current publicity going throughout the whole thing. So when things did reopen, I actually was getting calls, and through my website, I ran an ad for backyard parties, and for luck, I'm very grateful that I was getting emails and getting the booking. So I wasn't having to cold call as much. And I guess that's probably, maybe it was the path of least resistance. I went where people were calling me.
For sure.
Yeah, I actually noticed that your album came out in 2020, and I was like, ooh, was that planned, or is that was that right before the pandemic that it came out?
It was right on the 13th was when the Junos were canceled.
Yep.
That was the first event where the world was saying, okay, this is serious. This is going to be real.
Yeah.
And the 20th was the date that mine was dropping. So I had 47 shows booked that summer, and I was just about to start the tour. And I had a team, I had a publicist, marketing director, radio promoter, all the pieces in place, and everybody was paid, and it was ready to go. And then it just all went to hell.
All went to shit.
Yeah.
Man, that's
shitty.
But like I said, for luck, we've managed, and they worked. Everybody that I had on my team went the extra mile because it was extraordinary circumstances, and we just kept beating the drum, and we jumped right into the live streams. I couldn't do the live show or the release show, so we set up the cell phone the same way we are tonight, and my drummer and I played in my living room, and we had our release party come hell or high water, and actually sold some CDs, and were able to, it was respectable anyhow. And we just did that. We just kept evolving with every curve and every which way. And we managed to keep things going. So
freaking rights, man.
Kudos, man. Kudos.
Hell yes. That's what you have to do. You have to be able to evolve, right?
Yep.
With how fast everything is changing nowadays. Like, the evolution of technology in the last decade or two has been more than it has in the last 100 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how quick it's happening.
The thing is, we had two choices: fold our tents, call it quits, and say this wasn't meant to be, or that's not who I am, and that's not my nature. I'm pretty stubborn son of a bitch, so I just like. This is not the way that I'm going to impose my will on this, and I'm going to survive this. And so, that's just how it had to be.
Right.
I don't have a back door. I don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
I like not having plan B.
Yeah. I always have a plan B.
Plan B is always something you can fall back on.
Yeah, but I've never had to. My plan A is, knock on wood.
There you go.
They
so
always
you
work.
don't need plan B.
Well, I'd like fuck off. My plan A works, but there's always a backup plan.
So you're not confident in plan A.
I shouldn't say that.
I'm thorough.
Being truthful, my plan B was becoming moderately skilled at many different facets in the business. So I did sound for a band from Nashville for 10 years called Emerson Drive. So that,
really?
Yeah. So that was my plan B. And then working in that nightclub for however many years as a sound guy, that was my plan B. And then getting into recording. I dabble in that, doing demos, and I produced a few things. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't mean to come across that way. I did have a backup plan. It was just for luck or because of the choices that I made. It's in the entertainment business.
Yeah. Right. How did you get in touch with Emerson Drive?
We all kind of started doing the same bar circuit at the same time. I met them when I was in that first band. They were from Grand Prairie, and the band, I was in Trick Rider at the time. And we used to play a bar in Grand Prairie, and they were the talk of the town, these young hotshot kids that were going to make a name for themselves. They were called 12 Gauge at that time. And they were playing the other bar, the kind of the younger, more hip bar than what I was playing. And so we wound up meeting up after our shows and, just staying in touch. And the neat thing about that time period was Sundays were our travel days because we were playing Monday to Saturday. So on the highway, we'd be driving and we'd keep an eye out for, that's Emerson Drives, or that's 12 Gauge's band, or that's the John and Brothers or the Poverty Plainsmen. So there was definitely a fraternity, or there was a real camaraderie, because we are all doing this crazy thing, living by the seat of our pants to go to these next gigs. So yeah, we formed some pretty strong bonds. And I just kept in touch with them over the years. And at that whatever point when I finished working at the Pump in Regina, I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm looking for, if there was ever an opportunity to get involved with your organization. And about a year later, they called.
Frickin' A. That's, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That camaraderie thing, and like everybody's in the trenches together.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. How many videos did we have in this episode? 2?
2. Yeah.
2. Are we okay to close the show with one more? How about that? How about the one we were talking about with the Chevy in it?
We're playing that already.
Yeah, if you played that, I think you played that already, but I would, being that it is harvest time and I'm a farm kid at heart, we'd have that. We created, it was, prehistoric guys created it. They did they knocked it out of the park. We did that project with Darlene Toletta and Charlie Major sang with us. We did a remake of the Farmer Song.
Okay.
And we engaged her. Well, it first started out with recording with a cell phone in Darlene's, her parents' Quonset. All the machinery was out. So we went out, I drove up to her farm, and they had this big, lush, beautiful reverb. So we set up a cell phone. We sang through the Farmer Song a couple of times, threw it out on social media, and it took off. We had about 125,000 views within a week.
Nice.
So then it was a no-brainer to include it on my record. And in the meantime, Charlie Major had seen the video, and he's pretty good friends with Darlene, and I know him too. He reached out to Darlene and said, hey, if you guys are planning on doing a studio version of that, I'd love to sing it with you, because he said he used to sing that song when he was just getting started. And so anyhow, that's how that came to be, and we did it. It happened, which is, a bucket list thing that I never ever dreamed would happen, to sing a song with Charlie Major. And then the Prehistoric guys went to work on it. And we threw it out there to the social media, say, well, send in pictures of that favorite dusty old farmer in your life. And we had pictures from, early on, from the 20s and 30s right up to modern. And it was a very, very special, it came together really, really well.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's
what we're playing now.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll close the show with that.
Yeah.
JJ, it was a true honor to have you.
It's great to meet you guys, and thank you for having me.
I can't wait to meet you in person, man.
Yeah.
You will see me front row and center, my friend.
We'll get him here, so we can meet you.
But if you can stick around with us just for a couple more minutes, if that's okay, and we'll just say goodbye to all the viewers and listeners. You guys enjoy this song.
Dusty old farmer out working your field, hanging down over your tractor wheel. The sun beating down,
just ain't like they used to be. And your kids are out after the Canadian dream, and they're working in big factories. Now if I come by when you're out in the sun, can I wave at you just like a friend? These days when everyone's taking so much, there's somebody putting back in. Straw hat and old dirty hankies, mopping your face like a shoe. Thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, from a kid from the city to you. Straw hat and old dirty hankies, mopping your face like a shoe. Well, thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, from a kid from the city to you.
Thanks for the meal,
here's a song that's real,
from a kid from the city to you. Straw hat and old dirty hankies.